Oh, yes. I'm happy with that. I've got to be honest, I'm quite happy with that. Whew. Well, how we won it, I'm not totally sure, but I'm not complaining. So we won 3-2. Please fire in your comments and questions. Just to go over the game, I mean, let's not gloss over this. That was a bad, bad first half. And we were, I don't want to say we were fortunate to only be 2 down, because to be honest, Weymouth only really made the 2 chances, but fact of the matter, we didn't get going at all. And therefore, wow. Hello, Johnny. Good to see. First comment. Well done. Good evening indeed. Yeah, Ryan, spot on. Take that 100%, 1,000,000%. To be fair, Keats made good changes at half time and halfway through the half. And the second half, well, well, we managed to get there in the end, didn't we? It did improve. I can't help thinking, didn't it tell you something about the importance of confidence? They just looked a different team, didn't they? Oh, Oliver Williams, good man, absolutely. Dean Jones, the steal for Selden, Curtis Tilt. Well, he likes carrying the ball forwards, doesn't he? He likes driving on with it. TGG, what was the game like? Okay, let's try and sum that one up. Oh, it's going to be tricky. We changed to 3 at the back. We played like complete strangers in the first half. It was really poor. I've got to put this into a little bit of context. I've been doing these scouting podcasts, looking at teams we're about to play previous matches, and quite frankly, I've been a bit frustrated. Teams that got surprise wins over us, like Maidenhead, Altrincham, Wealdstone even to an extent. When I looked at those games, I thought, okay, they're better than you might expect. Weymouth weren't. Weymouth looked terrible the last 3 games, and I was optimistic coming into this match. When I saw we changed the shape, I thought, yeah, we've got lots of attacking players who can get at them, because their defence is flimsy. And we were shocking in the first half, absolutely shocking. The second half, well, okay, firstly, Davis came on, made a big difference. So we're 2-0 down at half-time. Davis made a big, big difference, I thought, when he came on. He is a left wing-back, I think, by trade, and did really well. At least in this stage of his career, that's his position. We then brought on 2 more subs, Yusuf and Jarvis. Yusuf may have scored the first one, I'm not sure, I've been looking back at it. Vassell headed it towards goal. Yusuf had a big swing at it. I think he got a touch to it. I think he was going to claim it anyway. And then almost straight away afterwards, the other sub, Jarvis, just ran through their defence and scored. And then we pushed on, missed a couple of chances, had a bit of a scare in added time, and then with 5 seconds left of the 5 added minutes, Hall Johnson hit a cross from the flank. Keeper got underneath it, and we won. Wow, crazy game. Like I said, don't brush the first half under the carpet. It wasn't good enough. But the fact of the matter is that we were resilient enough to respond. Keats was sensible enough to make decisive changes. And yeah, so we got the result. That's all that matters, isn't it? I hope that answers your question, TGG. Right, Johnny, do you think R&R will pay you to stay away? He's not seen a goal on the stream yet, and every game he's been at work for or turned off, we've won. Oh, I'll pay you to stay away if that's the case. Yeah, no worries. Hey, if you're our bad luck charm, then I'll do what's necessary. Don't worry. CG, and this is a really good point here, I think. Why didn't he play Durrell behind the striker in the first half? The first half proved he's not a centre mid. Yeah, I 100% agree. I thought Durrell had his least involved game in a lot of ways, and I think, yeah, I want him higher up the pitch, and maybe not wider up the pitch as well to be effective. The balance of the midfield seemed to be, for the first half hour, 35 minutes, Harris was sitting in a bit, and Young and Durrell were either side trying to get forwards. And Durrell had a bit more influence when, at that point, we seemed to just change the balance of the midfield 3. And so we had basically like a double pivot, Harris and Young, and then Durrell was more behind the striker. And straight after he did that, twice Durrell made runs beyond the strikers once he was given offside. But both times getting up and down, getting beyond the striker. That's where I want to see him. I agree completely, CG. Behind the striker, either picking up loose balls, playing passes, or trying to run him beyond. But he didn't really go on from that, I thought, in the second half. And I thought Jarvis did pretty well, actually, when he came on in that similar role. And it's the trophy next Saturday. I think he'll pick a proper team anyway, obviously. But Jarvis, I think, has earned a chance to play in that role and see how he does. Gemma, hi Gemma, hi, good to see you. Well, not to see your name, and you know what I'm saying. Wrexham is the name. Said this was our Istanbul. It was our Luton. I remember being at Luton. We were 3-0 down at half time, and we won 4-3. I suppose Luton was our Luton, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, I'll take Istanbul. I've got to be honest. I was at the first game you played at Weymouth. What is that now? That's 12 years ago, and it feels like you're driving to Istanbul, driving to Weymouth. I'll be honest with you. Hey, fab fact, coincidence fans. When we played there, we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes as well in the second half. We were winning 1-0, and then Jeff Louis scored a brilliant lob. Mark Williams then scores from straight 15 seconds of play from the kickoff, and we won 3-1 in the end because Stuart Bevan, remember that guy, scored for them in added time. Toxic Hunter 127. Vassell, Pearson and Keller at the back worked, I think. I was really happy with the result in the end. Yeah, I wasn't sure in the first half. I mean, I want to see that first goal again because there was a lot wrong with it, I thought. The fullback's got a lot of time to deliver across, so whether that's Hall Johnson's fault, we'd have to have a look at. Although, to be fair, if you're playing wing-backs, then the wing-backs don't get a lot of support. There's no wide midfield to double up with them. And then once the ball's played in, okay, the guy's got time to pick his spot, but you've got a target man in there. We ought theoretically to have 3 centre-backs in there. Like I said, I'd have to see the build-up to see why they weren't picking him up. But they weren't. He had a free header, and he knocks it down, and then McCoy arriving late is not picked up coming in either. Now, to me, playing 3 centre-backs, you should be defending those sort of crosses better, or certainly getting tighter to men. But like I said, maybe they pulled out of shape somehow, but that wasn't my recollection. It wasn't a quick move. That it didn't go into our box and out again to pull our defenders around, so I want to see that again, because it didn't look clever. After that, yeah, to be fair, I mean, I was just not happy with the first half. So I guess at half-time I was thinking, no, I don't like this system now. It's not bedding in well. Well, okay, to be fair, after that it worked. And when Davis started getting forward to good effect on the left to match Hall Johnson on the right, that was then effective as well. That helped, didn't it? And to be fair, apart from the 2 goals they scored, they didn't really make chances much, did they? So, yeah, okay. But certainly it's worth persevering with. And giving it a bedding down in an FA Trophy match seems ideal. Sam Williams, yeah, absolutely good result tonight. Thank you, Sam, but I'm quite sure that the mix of the commentary was outstanding. And to be fair to the Weymouth commentator on the stream, he was very fair. He was quite often calling things and saying, why hasn't that been given to Wrexham? So fair play to the bloke. Drag Wrexham. Great comeback after an awful first half, and the substitutions made a huge impact, 100% spot on. Was that good management or just a result of picking the wrong team to begin with? Well, that's a cracking question. Chicken or egg? And yeah, I mean, it's a legitimate question, isn't it? Do you praise somebody for altering things successfully, or do you criticise them for not picking a team, or picking a team that started like that in the first half? I would say, right, would anyone have argued against Record starting at left wing back at 7:45? Probably not. So therefore, yeah, I don't think you can really point at the selection that much. I am a little bothered that there's been a few away games lately. Bromley, this game, Torquay, although, to be fair, Torquay, they are a very good team. Hartlepool, where our first half performance has been quite limp. And then the second half, after Keator's got in amongst them, has been a lot better. So I'm a little bothered by that. But I don't think it's a case of picking the wrong team and then having to fix, like, obvious endemic problems. I think there was a problem with our first half performance massively, and I was glad he acted decisively to sort her out. Yeah, I don't think we'd have argued too much at Record being picked at left wing back, or Thomas starting ahead of Yusuf, or indeed Durrell being given the chance to play in a more central position. Although, as CG was mentioned earlier, I think he'd like to see him a little higher up the pitch rather than a proper centre mid position. Well, you know, management's part genius, part luck. I don't think it's a Gary Mills situation. Gary Mills, I thought, and I'm going to speak heresy a bit here, Gary Mills was good, I think, at reading games and making in-game alterations when stuff wasn't working. But the fundamental difference for me is that when Mills was doing this, he did not believe in analysis. He was very old school. He would make decisions based on gut, and therefore his teams, even though he kept changing his formations around, his teams weren't based on any knowledge of what the other side did. It was purely what he felt he'd try next with his players. And then he'd alter things in game. Keats does a lot of preparatory work looking at the next opponents, so he does think up game plans based on where we can exploit their weaknesses. So it's not a case of just, in Gary Mills' second season particularly, shaking all the names in a bag and pulling out 11, sticking them on the pitch and then fixing it as he went along, or not fixing it. It's more that he had a plan, he looked to execute it, the team didn't, he made key changes, and then it worked. So I think it's good management, to be fair. Now, let's see. Ollie. Ollie's saying it's time for Darlington to leave. When he left for 4 games due to COVID, we had a draw and 3 wins. Prior to that, and since he's come back, we haven't won until now. Listen, Oliver, remember as well, we can't see what happens on a training ground. I'm always a bit reluctant to sort of be drawn into pointing fingers at certain individuals, because unless you can see exactly what's happening in the training ground, exactly what's being given to the team, what's been brought in, and where ideas come from, I don't think you can judge the value or otherwise of individual players, coaches, beg your pardon. You don't know the influence they have. I suspect that Brian Hughes was more influenced by outside factors than Keats would be, I think, as well. So, coincidences sometimes can happen. That's sort of specious logic in a way to fit in whether someone's there or not with results, in the sense that, players playing out their skin. I mean, those games where he did well, for example, Kwame Thomas was absolutely flying. So that's a bigger factor probably than whether someone prepared the team or not. I don't know. That's my logic anyway. Davis. I'm not really surprised Davis and Jarvis changed momentum, playing in positions that suit. Keith has to start learning from these moments. Yeah, I agree that Davis, I think the problem with Davis is that he is a really good player and he is really technical, possibly the best technical player we've got. And as a result of that, there's a temptation to play him in a central role where he can try to dictate terms. And although it hasn't worked out for him properly in centre mid, I could see good elements of what he was doing in opposition. Just difficult to do the whole 90 minutes. I think he just needs to bulk up a little bit before he can play that role. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that's his best position, or left wing, or left side in midfield 4, and I'd like to see a lot more of that. So yeah, absolutely right. And then Jarvis, well, I really like Jarvis. I think he's a high quality, again, technical player. Those two probably are our most technical players, actually. But I can see the logic when we're playing 4-4-2 of, you want Young to play, you want Harris to play, well, there's your midfield 2. Where's Jarvis going to fit in? I think his role really is a sort of off-the-striker player, or like we played last season with the box midfield with him wide and coming inside. Again, like Durrell, a more advanced position. Now, Durrell's held that position down pretty much this season. Maybe now Jarvis gets a little bit of an opportunity to show that. In fact, there are Bootlegger Legend as well saying, time to start Jarvis. Certainly, I think he's a quality player. And if you've heard me waffling, you'll know I think this. I think one of his big strengths, he's really good on the breakaway. He's not quick, but he picks the right pass. And if we've got Ponticelli up there, if we've got Yusuf up there, if we've got pace, players running beyond, wing-backs bombing past, Jarvis, the man who can play the killer passes, is going to be, I think, a useful player to have in the first 11. Reese, again, hello there. Hi, Reese. Dean Jones, he said, didn't catch the game. Does Jarvis look fitter? Rumour was he came back pre-season overweight. Well, I don't know about that. He played well. In what game was it? He came on as a sub. Oh, was it Solihull? Or was that the game he started? There was a game he came on as a sub and looked good. And then he started Solihull and didn't look so good. I don't know. He did all right. He looked sharp enough. Yeah, I was happy with him. John, FA Trophy should be top priority this season. Going up is important, yes, but maybe not realistic. Getting Wembley would be a huge first season for R&R. Right, Johnny, I follow your logic, and I quite like your logic. And I think especially the way that this first round is coming when there's no games around it means we can pick a proper team and take it seriously. But I also think we've got squad depth. You know, we've got cover for every position, decent cover. And we should have a squad capable of getting through things. I, however, wouldn't abandon promotion at all. I mean, remember, top 7 get a playoff place. I haven't looked at the table properly, but my lad was doing the maths, and he was saying that if we win our game in hand, you know, we could jump up the table a fair amount. So don't give it up. And remember, this season's just weird. There's all sorts of strange COVID-y madness going on. Lack of crowds, lack of match sharpness, long gaps, unexpected gaps, COVID breaks where you can't train even. It's just weird. All around the world in football, you can see weird stuff happening. Just don't give up on anything. Didn't Torquay lose at home to Dagenham tonight? So maybe they, maybe they won't sustain. If you take Torquay out of the equation, everyone's pretty close to each other, and we can see the old cliche, everyone can beat everyone else this season of all seasons. I agree with James Waterhouse, virtually a new side, still trying to gel, I agree, and we haven't had the consistency of constantly playing because of COVID breaks. Who was it? Was it Felix and Devotion made the same point on Twitter, and I replied saying, in terms of games played, this is mid-September. It's still early, you know. Che, hey Che, see you Thursday for more Dragonheart goodness. Brilliant result tonight. We need to be patient. We need to give Keats another couple of months. No matter what, a winner's a win tonight. Absolutely, yeah. We're still building in. We're still bedding in this side. There's a lot of decent players here. I would like to see us, perhaps bring in a couple of quality players in January if funds allow. If you know what I mean? But we've got the fundamentals of something, and despite being really erratic, we are still up there. And yeah, we're certainly, well, to be fair, as Keats has been saying, don't press the panic button, don't overreact to wins, don't overreact to defeats. I'm not sure what to make of this game in a way, because like I said, the first half was horrible. But let's see if we can build on that second half rather than revert back to the first half, I suppose. Reece saying this year we need to win the league. Yep, I mean, Torquay are a way off at the moment, but they've just lost, as I understand it. They look good, but I think this side's got potential to click, I think. Ryan Price said that I think people still think... Oops, sorry, Ryan, I just lost your place. Still think we're a football league team, but that's not the case anymore, and I think we need to accept that and focus on bringing in players who'll get us up the league first. Yeah, I agree, and I think as well, you've got to manage expectations in terms of the fact we've now got money coming into the club, because we're not going to go off and buy flashy players straight off the bat. And I don't think that for a second Reynolds and McElhenney want to do that. They want to grow us organically. They want to get out of the divisions. But we're not going to just stop. You hear people talking mad talk about players we'll bring in. I don't think we're going to go off in January and buy a couple of championship first team players. We're going to build sensibly. And you're right, we need to build realistically. A couple of good quality League 1 or 2 players who get a lot of games would give a huge boost at National League level. And I think that's a sort of level we could look to if we have the financial muscle to bring in a couple of good quality signings. That's my logic anyway. Mr. C, could this be the kickstart we needed? Poor first half and come back to win, scoring the 3 goals. For me, it should show the team we can grind out wins. Yeah, it should show the team that they shouldn't give up. And, well, it didn't, to be fair. Like I said, I just thought once that first goal went in, the confidence was there. The performance improved at half-time, but that goal just made it feel more positive to me, and the heads went up again. And so, yeah, you never know. Mind you, we had that run of wins, didn't we, where we battered Sutton, and you thought that might have been what we needed. But then we reverted back to the mean, and we're erratic. And like I said, the circumstances of the COVID season means that we are a bit all over the place, and all teams are. So I hope that can kickstart us, but I think maintaining momentum is not easy. And what have we got now? 4 games in a month or something? So we're suddenly gone from feast to famine. So we'll have to see. Hope you're right. David's Ponticelli's concerning me a bit. He's flashing to deceive at the moment. Yeah, me too. I don't feel there's that many goals in this team. I know we just scored 3, but the thing is that, to my logic, and I think Keats is as well, Ponticelli was the bloke the 20 goal a season striker. And we've gone on a 2-year contract. Don't think they need to worry, or panic, should I say. But at the moment, I think he's playing quite well. He's working very hard. He partners Thomas decently. When we get the press going in the other side's half, which I didn't think we did today, I think he does a good role. He makes good runs. He's energetic. But he's not... Well, he got into some scoring positions in his early games and missed, which I don't worry too much about. But now he's not getting into scoring positions, and that concerns me. I agree, David. I think we've just got to think, well, he's missed his pre-season. He's almost playing his pre-season now. And we need to, we need to hope that he can get that rhythm going. CG, 3 points off third. Yes, exactly. Imagine if we put a run together and play well consistently, precisely. I just think this whole division is still in the early stages. There's lots and lots to play for, including the title. Declan, how have we fluked that then? By fluke, Declan. By fluke. Well, yeah, I mean, let's be fair. We shouldn't have come back in that, really. I will say what I said at the start, though. I scouted Weymouth and they're poor. And that was why the first half really upset me and bothered me. Because I just watching those games, I mean, I just thought, I don't like saying this, but just make their defence work. I know you don't do that. I know you try to put quality on everything. But quite frankly, watching their defence over the last 3 games, just make them work and they'll make mistakes. And once we started actually getting the ball in their box and making them work, the mistakes were daft, weren't they? So, yeah, I agree. We fluked it. I mean, the winning goal's a cross, isn't it? Let's be honest. But in football, I suppose all that matters is the results. You can only beat what's put in front of you. I said to my lad at half-time, I said, don't give up on this. Not because I thought Wrexham was showing signs of recovery, but simply because I felt Weymouth were the sort of team that could implode and let 5 goals in a half from what I'd seen of them. And ultimately, I just, I have no idea what I was about to say then, but ultimately, yeah, we won it. That's all that matters. That's my theory. Sorry, I completely lost the track of that one. Llama Dog games. Oh, remember the 1988 edition of that? We're 8th. Absolutely, yes, you're filling me in from before, aren't you? Sorry. 3-7s. You're a very flattering chap, I must say. What's my role in the club? Hi, Reese. My role is I turn up and do stuff like this, I suppose, to be daft. I'm a teacher. I'm not paid. Never have been. I've been commentating since the 80s on first hospital radio and then the club's online channels. So I have no official role at all. I'm a volunteer. But I do commentaries on radio, usually. Occasional live stream commentaries where I push our sponsors who are beer companies, and then everyone got upset with me. Sorry. Bootlegger Pilsner, 1974. And I edit the match videos, things like that. Occasionally do stupid things in video as well. And do podcasts. Lots and lots of podcasts, basically. Oh, and Dragonheart. I now do Dragonheart on a Friday. So yeah, I have no official role. I'm just a volunteer, but I just do stuff because I kind of love Wrexham. My dad's a Wrexham fan. He watched Wrexham during the Second World War. My granddad was a Wrexham fan who watched Wrexham when they first came into the Football League. And my nan apparently used to complain that he'd come back from the matches and he couldn't speak because he'd been screaming for the whole 90 minutes. So yeah, it's in the blood. My son, rabid Wrexham fan, who worked for a best as Dean Keats' analyst in Keats' first spell. So, yeah, volunteer, basically. Enthusiastic volunteer. I love it. Wrexham's the name, thanks very much. So Torquay did lose to Dagenham, which is a heck of a shot. Bootlegger legend who needs to be more consistent. Amen, brother. Oh, boy, we really do need to be consistent, don't we? I think the conditions are tricky, aren't they? Llama Dog Games, there's a rumour Louis Moult is coming on loan. I've seen that rumour. I want to be careful what I say now. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. I suspect not. I'll give him reasons why, but if he comes now, I'm going to look so stupid. I think a lot of these rumours happen because fans want to put something out there. Frankly, because if they turn out by luck to be right, they'll look clever. I think, to be honest with you, that's human nature. All people want to look good like that, I think. My logic is that if you are a manager of a team and you are given a decent amount, a little pot of cash to spend in January, would you bring in and loan a player who clearly is very good? I like Louis Moult, but I think I'm right in saying has been out injured all season and needs somewhere to get fit? Or would you buy, I don't know, a guy who's just scored 10, who's on 10 goals in League One, if you've got the money to do that sort of deal? I think the latter. Now, Keats does bring in people because of their character. He does know Moult. He played with him in Moult's one season. He knows his quality. But if we're using a loan signing to essentially get a player up to speed for their parent club, is that a smart move? I don't know. Having said that, of course, he is a fine striker who would score goals at our level if he's fit. So, I don't know. Maybe true. I'm not so sure, but you never know. Declan, we're up there, but it feels like papering over the cracks. Get the impression this is a good squad being held back by its management at times. Right, okay, I'll take that in two parts if it's okay with you. Yeah, I agree with that up there, but it's papering over the cracks. We are certainly not consistent. There have been some really good performances, but then, we're all happy now. That first half today was shocking. Like I said, Weymouth are not a good team. When Maidenhead beat us, we were upset. But like I said, watching Maiden's its last few games, they've been losing but playing well, so I didn't feel too shocked by that. But Weymouth are a poor team, and we were terrible in the first half. So yeah, I completely agree with that. I also like the squad. I'm a Keats fan, put cards on the table. So I don't know if it's management holding us back, to be frank. Although I respect your point, and if we can switch to three at the back and get a better run of results, then maybe implies that the 4-4-2 wasn't the right shape for them. I think it may be that Ponticelli getting injured and therefore not being that sharp cutting edge has made quite a difference to our planning, I would say. I'd also say Pearson being missing at the back has had an impact on us. We may have wanted to play three at the back, who knows, if Pearson had been fit from the start. I suspect not, but you might have done. So I see what you mean, but I don't think the management's holding it back, personally. Reese, how much transfer budget do we have this year? Oh boy, don't do that to me. Right, now the trust puts out the official figure, which is 900,000. As I understand it, though, that's not just a transfer budget, so that also covers other expenses on the playing side as well. So because of that, I think it sounds like a bigger amount than it is. My information is that the actual sort of transfer budget and the way people view it is considerably less than that. And I was astounded when Keats managed to bring in a squad with such depth. I wasn't surprised he brought some good players in, but I was surprised he brought in so many that we've essentially, if you don't count Szczepaniak, we've got 22 players, 2 for each position. That shocked me. So, I mean, the truth of the matter about the transfer budget is, how much do we have this year? How much have we got left? Well, I'd assume nothing, or very little. But then we got new owners who said they're going to put £2 million into the club. I don't think all that's going to go on the playing side. So we mustn't immediately expect us to start spending £2 million in transfer fees. I think it's going to go into a lot of infrastructure and organisational things, and maybe on the ground as well. But yeah, I assume that there will be a pot to spend in January should the takeover take place by then, I would assume. But I mean, the truth of the matter is that in real terms, this budget's considerably less than what we had last season when Brian Hughes brought in 7 new players, and is also considerably less than what Dean Keats had when he first was manager with us, and indeed what Ricketts had. So this is the smallest playing budget we've had for quite a long time. Wrexham, how much of an impact did Pearson make on the comeback tonight? I noticed he sprints off the pitch at half-time whistle. Could imagine he had a few words to say. Yeah, I would imagine so. There was a point, I don't even remember it, in the first half, where for some weird reason Vassell, who had a simple pass back to the keeper, decided to try and play a switch to Kelleher and got it all wrong and put it out of play. And you could just see Pearson, while running across to cover the danger that Vassell had created, shouting over his shoulder at him. And I thought, Vassell's going to get a really sore right here if we keep playing this three at the back. Yeah, I thought Pearson was solid today. In the first half, frankly, I felt he was one of the few Wrexham players who looked like themselves. And the fact that he's there drives people forwards. He was hitting those diagonals, as was Kelleher, to be fair. So, yeah, he makes a difference having him on the pitch. Anthony Hughes, there's no league games now until Stockport, just after Christmas. Plenty of time to work on a training ground, and a takeover will be finalised by then. Yes, you would hope so. Feels like that could be a pivotal game. Let's hope so as well. I agree 100%. I wrote a thing in the Leader and on the Wrexham fan blog last week about the training ground work. I think it's absolutely crucial that we work there. I said at the time it's important now we've got a gap. We should need to be working hard on Colliers, and all right, we'll come out of a different formation, which in the end worked. So yeah, hopefully that's exactly the case. Tom Scott, who has been overcome by the red wave. Are you in favour of the... Oh, hang on. You did this before, didn't you? No, I'm not in favour of the death penalty, Tom. Thanks for asking. Che, I'd rather play badly and win than play well and lose or draw. Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, man. I used to get sick in the 90s of us playing lovely football and losing. I remember my first game of a season at Fulham in the late 90s, going there. And it was very early. It might have been Al Fayed's first game. It might have been. Oh, and all the brouhaha and the fuss, and oh, Fulham are going to blow the whole division away. And oh, we were brilliant. We absolutely dominated them. We battered them and lost 1-0. And that for a long time was my experience of Wrexham. We were admirable, we were lovely. Number of people in the away team, the away press saying, "Oh, you're a good team. You're the best team we played this season." Yeah, but you beat us. Yeah, so yeah, I quite enjoyed playing like that in the first half particularly, and then fluke it across it at the last minute. Absolutely. John, I don't reveal my secret role. Danny Dyer, good to hear from you again, Danny. It's lucky as 100%, but then your next comment, about time we had luck, 100%. I'm going to do a huge Wrexham Anorak thing before I go to bed, and put it on the website, club website, because there's going to be some mad stuff. But I tried to have a look, and that's where games where we come back from 2 down. I thought I had it automatically recorded on my massive sad spreadsheet, and I don't. But the last time we came from behind to win a league game was Barrow on the first day of last season. The last time we came from behind to win an away league game, or any away game, was Havens and Waterlooville, and when Brian Hughes was manager. So yeah, it's about time, isn't it? Absolutely. Oh, thank you very much, Tom. Very flattering about the stuff that we do. I hope so. I mean, I'm just a volunteer getting stuck into it, but I'm a rabid Wrexham fan. And I always felt when I did away games, it's like, now it's different with the streams, but if you're not there, the only way you can find out is people telling you straight what happened and then looking at the highlights afterwards. And there was a long time when we didn't really have proper highlights from away games either. So, I see it as a sort of responsibility in a sense to try and be as straight as I can and tell the truth about what happens, and I'll be honest with you, I really love doing it. So Bootlegger Legend, opinion on this Eddie Howe rumour? I can't believe that for a second. I just don't buy that. I don't buy that. You're a Premier League manager, even if we've got a budget, you're a Premier League manager, you lose your job, but you've been well thought of. A couple of years ago they had serious talk of him being England's next manager, so you pop down to the 5th division. No, surely not. Especially because, and that's the other thing we need to bear in mind, National League's a nightmare to get out of. It's a bottleneck. So there's only one automatic place. There's only one other one, which is in a lottery. So Eddie Howe could easily come down to our level, do a good job, and not get us up. And his top level ambitions are over now. I think Eddie Howe either hangs on for a decent Premier League job from people who remember the good work he's done at Bournemouth and decide to turn a blind eye to what happened last season when they had a lot of injuries, or a decent club in the Championship to pull up. I think that's where he'd look myself, and I think he'd get a Premier League job at the right club. I think he could sell himself as not the most expensive option. Steve Bruce's successor, that sort of thing. I don't know. Callum, hi. Right, Tom. Pedestrianisation of Norwich town centre. I'm against it. Now then, which car would Henry V drive? Back at you, Tom. Callum Edwards, are you still working in St. Joseph's? I'm at St. Joseph's still. I think working would be generous. But yes, I am still there. It's quite weird at the moment because we're teaching online for this week, and so it's quite fun doing it. So I'm doing this at night with the footy, and then I'm doing streams during the daytime of lessons. it's quite weird. Although I was doing it on analytical language this afternoon, which is similar to this, I guess, in a way. Thank you, Dry. I wanted to mutate it then. Dry Wrexham, thank you. That's genuinely lovely of you. Thank you very much. And yes, Shay AR, I will go and get some kip. You're quite right. Although, as I say, it's not, strictly speaking, not a school night for me because we're teaching from home this week. All the Wrexham schools have been shut for a week. But we are still teaching. And I've got to get up early tomorrow anyway. It's hell, because my wife's taking the car into the garage. Did I need to tell you that? No. Did I tell you it? Can't deny it. So I better go. I think, Chaz, you are the last person. So I'll Scarpa. Good old Wrexham. We rode our luck, but hey, as Danny Dyer said, it's about time some gadlack fell our way. And that, my friends, is an impersonation of someone whose voice I can't quite imagine. Good night. Actually, no, not good night. I'm going to do the podcast now as well. That'll be out quite soon. And I'll stick the video of this, or the audio of this rather, as a podcast as well. Highlights will be out tomorrow at 10. That's the earliest we're allowed to post them by the National League. Okay? So smashing, absolutely. Oh, Danny Dyer just said the name of the signing I was wondering about. Oh, should I? Oh no, there's loads of comments now. Oh heck, hello. Anyway, people saying nice things. Thank you so much. It's lovely of you. Yolo. Hello, Yolo. Which Wrexham players do you think we can get back of Ryan and Rob joining? I don't want to look at it like that. I say let's pick just Keats scouts and is thorough and is very professional and in the way meticulous in the way he does things like that. So I don't really want us to do that. They say never go back, don't they? So. No, I don't know. If I was to answer that question, I like Connor Jennings, but he's just got his move, his sort of dream move. Go to his hometown club playing with his brother. Connor and James are particularly close. I think he's going to be happy there. I don't think we're going to tempt him away from there. So, I'm trying to think of an extra. Domvos, yeah. Domvos. How about that? Maybe not. John Walters? Neil Taylor? Nah, we're fine. Got plenty of left wing backs, haven't we? So, we'd better Scarpa. Oh, you guys make me blush. I need to go. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this. No, Declan, I did not confirm. I have no inside info on this. But I can't deny he is a player that I can't help wondering he could turn up. But wouldn't it be ironic if we've looked at him so many times and he's been just out of our reach, and then we have enough cash maybe to bring in some good players, and we decide we could bring in someone a bit higher calibre, and we don't go for him? Wouldn't that be ironic? Oh, Ashley Williams, Lamadon games. Nah, do you reckon? I was talking to a lad about this a couple of weeks ago. I think, not names, but players, if you see what I mean. Well-scouted, quality players who want to drive on and make something of their career and do it with us. Players with the potential to be performing League 2, League 1, or maybe even players who have done that and who we can attract in. And I think maybe I'm being optimistic saying that, but yeah, Ashley Williams, to me, feels like a sort of Dean Saunders style, this is a famous friend of mine move, I would say. So there you go. Danny, I promise you, I know nothing specific about Cook at the moment. In the past, we have got close, I will say that. But I don't know nothing about him at the moment, I promise you. Jay has heard the rumour. He hears that this weekend's Dragonheart might be the best radio show of all time. Well, it will be. But Che, who made his debut on Dragonheart last week and was brilliant, you're going to be on the subsequent weeks. This week, it's Lucy and Tom. I'm doing it with Tom Barlow. So this week's will be the best ever, but then Shay will come along and reinvent podcasting. Don't you worry. Alan Griffiths, Merry Christmas in New Zealand. And is it New Zealand? Is it Chris? I know you're ahead of us on the sort of international date line where you are, but surely it's not Christmas yet, is it, Alan? Check your watch. Danny, yeah, Andy Cook scores goals and is good at winning headers and holding the ball up. So, yes. And on that bombshell, I'd better Scarpa. Thank you so much for hanging around. If you hung around for the whole of this, I can only say I'm sorry to have bored you for so long. But brilliant questions, brilliant chat as always. I massively appreciate it. And come on, you Reds. Okie dokie. I'll get some. No, I won't get Kip. I'll do what I said last time. Podcast and stuff like that. See you, chaps.